All right, guys, let's go. This is Everything Octagon. We're going to be breaking down UFC Vegas 91. We had a break, week-long break, no fights at all after 300. That's going to be a hard card to follow, but we're going to be breaking down the fights for Vegas 91. Main card, Tim Means versus Uros Medic is first on the agenda. Yeah, I don't like this fight. I don't like it. 40-year-old Tim Means versus Uros Medic, 31, coming off a contender series in his prime. Tim Means is a badass but in his own right, man. Don't get me wrong. 20 knockouts. He's very diverse. He's very skilled, very gritty. He's good in the clinch. He can take a beating. He's a better nail than a hammer sometimes. Good cardio. He just took out Andre Fialho off at his cardio. They were having a war, and Fialho gassed out first, and Tim Means took advantage and got the win in that fight. He's a vet, 49 fights, but he's a plus 250 underdog in this fight against Uros Medic, and I know why. I watched Uros Medic on Contender Series, and he's bad boy. He's southpaw, very technical, a lot of power. He's got 9 wins, and all of those wins are by finish. 7 of them knockouts and 2 submissions. So I just don't like. It's going to be fun to watch, don't get me wrong, but I just don't like this whole song and dance where they're feeding these 40-year-old fighters to these guys that are in their prime, just trying to make a name for those younger fighters. To me, it shows lack of respect for what some of these guys that have been around so long have done. They're like, yeah, on your way out, we're going to try to squeeze every bit of juice out of you. You know, they're squeezing an orange that's already been squeezed. Just let these 40-year-old guys fight each other and maybe put on some good fights, maybe not make them so predictable. But we all know that the biggest enemy for any of these guys is father time. And the easiest way to speed that up is to put them up against a young, up-and-coming lion in their prime. So, I mean, I got Uros Medic by knockout in this fight. Don't get me wrong, Tim Means could definitely tire him out and maybe get a sneaky choke or something like that, but it's probably going to be Uros Medic by knockout, round 1, round 2, something like that. If you like to take risks and you want to risk some money to try to make some money, you could bet Tim Means. He's a plus 250 underdog. It's a good payout, and it is possible, but it's going to be Uros Medic by knockout. Next up, in the featherweight division, we got Jonathan Pearce versus David Onama. Guys, Jonathan Pearce is a favorite in this fight. I know why. He's wrestling pressure for days. He comes in and just tries to drain you. He tries to siphon the gas right out of your tank. He's got a lot of good wins coming into the UFC, but he's coming off a loss. Joe Anderson Brito got him in a ninja choke. That's something you risk when you come in for the legs and the hips all the time, leaving that neck out there for exposure. But he's no joke. That's why he's a favorite. He's got massive wrestling cardio. He basically tires himself out wrestling, but he knows he's going to get you first, and that's the key here. He beat Christian Rodriguez in his debut. Christian Rodriguez, it was his debut fight. He's done a lot better since then, but he just controlled him. He controlled a good, scrappy, scrambly Christian Rodriguez for 3 rounds and got a decision off of him. And Christian Rodriguez is someone that I've been very high on lately, taking out some of these young contenders like Cameron Simon and Raul Rosas Jr. and stuff. So that's nothing to sneer at. Jonathan Pearce, 19 fights, 7 in the UFC. I mean, up against David Onama as the underdog. And this should almost be a 50-50 even fight. But David Onama can actually win this as the underdog. I struggle. I go back and forth. Like, all right, is he going to get out-wrestled the whole time? Can he keep it standing? But then I went and watched his fight with Gabriel Santos. And holy crap, man, I was really impressed with David Onama's scrambling ability as well. Gabriel Santos is a high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner, especially, off of his back. He had incredible hip movement, being able to move to the side and just set up submissions left and right. Now, David Onama got caught in many of those submissions. Gabriel Santos must have threw up like 4 nasty submissions, triangles, arm bars, you name it. And Onama had an answer for every one of them. Ended up kind of stifling that jiu-jitsu and getting a TKO victory over Gabriel Santos. So in my head, these guys are pretty much even, but what it is momentum. I feel like the momentum that David Onama has is going to be, too much for the, coming off a loss for Joanderson Brito and a ninja choke, Jonathan Pearce. I'm going with the underdog on this. I think that Onama's going to get the knockout. So, again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but just something. Sometimes you sit there and study these fights and just something tells me he's going to get the knockout. I don't think that the favorite's going to win this one. I don't mind Jonathan Pearce. But, yeah, David Onama, good submission defense, very well-rounded, great striking, mixes it up, good ground and pound. I think David Onama can get the KO victory here. So, we'll see what happens. Either that, it's going to be Pearce probably by decision. So, in the heavyweight division, we got Jhonata Diniz versus Austen Lane, guys. This is the reason I wanted to even, make sure I watched this card. And I've had my eye on him, Jhonata Diniz, since the Contender series. So he's got a knockout on Contender, got a contract with the UFC, and he's a nasty kickboxer at heavyweight. He's got a lot of nice kickboxing knockouts, and other than his fight on Contender series, I really didn't track down much as far as MMA tape, but he's got 6 knockouts in MMA, all in the first round. So I'm really interested to see how this translates into the UFC. Sometimes you get these guys that have records like that, but they get in the UFC and they're just not on that level. I think this guy is. I think we're about to see like a, maybe, now I don't want to say Pereira, but he's good, dude. He's got some flying knee knockouts, a lot of knockouts with his hands. So both his knees and his hands are deadly. And Austen Lane ain't done shit since he come in from Contender series. Really, he ain't done much. He's got a KO loss to Justin Tafa. Then he's got he poked Justin Tafa in the eye, and that was a no contest. His record says 11. I think he's done, dude. I think Austen Lane's about to get fucked up, guys. Seriously, tune in for this one. It's going to be free on freaking ESPN. So, heavyweight Jhonata Diniz versus Austen Lane. Diniz, round 1, knockout by Diniz. Calling it. You got to tune in. I think it's going to be fucking good. I think Austen Lane's going to get it. He's going to get it. You watch. So, good. Next up in the flyweight division, we got Karine Silva versus Ariane Lipski. These girls are both good, guys. Ariane Lipski's never been tapped out. Karine Silva is on a 6-fight submission win streak. And we're not just saying, we're not talking get them down and get their back and choke them out. We're talking a variety of submissions, guillotines, knee bars, Darce chokes, arm bars, triangle chokes. I mean, she has got almost every submission to exist on her damn record. And 6 in a row. Ariane Lipski's never been submitted. She's tough as nails. She just beat Casey O'Neill by armbar. She beat JJ Aldridge by decision. So she's very tough, very well-rounded, and she's never been submitted. So I'm really interested to see if Karine Silva, coming off a Contender series and coming into UFC and taking out, she's coming off a win by Marina Moroz by guillotine. 8 knockouts, 9 submissions. I'm going Karine Silva by submission. I don't care. Ariane Lipski, we're about to see her get submitted for the first time in the UFC. So, let's go. We're going Karine Silva by submission. Next up, the co-main event in the light heavyweight division. We got Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Guskov. Pretty good little fight here, guys. I know that Ryan Spann is the favorite to win, but I think Bogdan can get it done here. Ryan Spann's coming off a loss to Anthony Smith, split decision loss. He does have a knockout over Dominic Reyes, but I don't know. I think that Bogdan is getting better every time he steps in the octagon. He's got 13 knockouts. He is the shorter fighter. Ryan Spann's 6'5", about the same in age. Ryan Spann's going to have the reach, but I think Bogdan's got the power, and I think he's going to knock Ryan Spann out. As far as the ground game. I also have some stats here, extra stats that I'd like to pull up. Strikes landed per minute is going to go to Ryan Spann at 3.42 strikes per minute. And then you move on down, it's going to be strikes absorbed per minute. It is, again, the edge is going to Ryan Spann because you want less strikes absorbed per minute at 3.91. Bogdan, some of his stats are hard to go by because he's only had 2 UFC fights. The first one, he got ripped right to the ground and choked by Volkan Ozdemir. But I feel he learned from that. He ended up coming out against Zach Puega, who's very good himself, and Bogdan defended 2 takedowns and ended up getting a TKO victory over Zach Puega. So the 66% on takedown defense really doesn't hold true for Bogdan. He's only had 2 fights. He's been attempted to take down 3 times. He's defended it twice, and yeah, just not enough info. But Ryan Spann, he's had 11 fights, so some of his stats over here are pretty legit. His takedown accuracy 35%. So you got 60% over here. I think that Volkan Ozdemir isn't, really a wrestler per se like Ryan Spann. He's got good trips and stuff. It's probably how he got him down. But I think that Bogdan stuffs the takedown here and makes it a stand-up fight and knocks Ryan Spann out if Spann can't get him to the ground. And if he does, I'd like to see how Bogdan's submission defense has improved. But I'm going Bogdan by first round knockout. Let's see it. All right, guys, last but not least, well, it is least, the flyweight division. Matheus Nicholau versus Alex Perez. I don't even know why this is the main event. Maybe because they're little flyweights and they're going to be able to go 5 rounds. They're not going to be able to knock each other out. They're not going to submit each other. Neither one of these guys are premier fighters. Nobody really cares. I don't know why they're on the main event. But maybe the old mastermind Dana White has a different outlook on it, but I don't. I mean, Matheus Nicholau, he's coming off a loss to Brandon Royval, knocked out in round 1. Alex Perez is coming off a loss by Muhammad Makayev. He was fucking wrestle-fucked the whole time and lost a unanimous decision. He's a three-fight losing streak. He's lost to freaking Pantoja, Figueiredo. He's pretty well-rounded, but I think that Matheus Nicholau is going to be the better fighter. If you look, I brought up some of the UFC stats, and when you look down at takedown defense, Matheus Nicholau is 93% takedown defense, whereas Alex Perez has a 44% takedown accuracy. So I feel like Matheus is going to light Alex Perez up on the feet, and Alex Perez is not going to be able to get it to the ground. We're not looking at anything spectacular here. You can see that Matheus Nicholau has the edge in striking accuracy as well as striking defense. So, Perez does have the edge in strikes landed per minute, but at flyweight, you just think maybe he's just not hitting them hard enough. He's getting a lot of strikes in and up in that stat, but he ain't knocking anybody out. So, Matheus Nicholau is the favorite, negative 185 versus Alex Perez, plus 155 underdog status. I think it's going to be a boring main event, boys. Yeah, it's going to be Matheus Nicholau, mostly stand-up fight, but Matheus Nicholau is going to piece up Alex Perez and get a decision victory. Alex Perez is on his way out here. He's done nothing but lose. I don't know why he's in the main card, but yep, so we're going Matheus Nicholau by decision. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like and subscribe and help out my channel. It's only going to get better. We're just going to continue to grow, and I want to thank each and every one of my subscribers that I have now. We're trying to get to 500, so go ahead and please hit that subscribe button. Have a good week.